Hello and welcome to another video. Hang on, let me put my phone down. Sorry about that. Unprofessional. Another video. I'm not even gonna do anything or say anything until I say this part first. This isn't a secret. I mean, it's a secret enough, but this is a more well-known exploit. We're gonna be exploring. Hello, my name is Kenny. Welcome back. I'll say that now, but I just want to avoid any all comments like, "This has been done before, man. This isn't new. God, get unique." I don't care. I'm doing this for several reasons. I'm going to... Hello. Hi, by the way. We're going to Naxxramas. We're going to get outside of Naxxramas, in particular. Wrath of the Lich King dungeon, level 80. Was classic / vanilla / BC raid. Heard it's very hard. Never actually got to do the classic version. Obviously, the level 80 version is a lot easier. But we're going to be getting outside of it, which is the important part. And like I was saying earlier, that's not necessarily new. But I am going to go through this for several reasons. One, might as well have a catalog of everything that I can do and know of. Consider it like a work portfolio, I guess. You can view my fine works and then hire me to exploit your map. But I can also explain certain things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what people have suggested. I'm going to go ahead and do it. It's very quick. Very quick. The only thing that you'll actually need is any class. Any class can do this. You don't even have to kill a boss. You just zone in and you can do it. Get something that can grow your character. So for me, I prefer the Vrykul Drinking Horn, which is Northrend Archaeology dig. I forget what skill level that requires, but most people have it. If not, you can still technically do it with like Giant's Elixir, which if you're playing in Draenor right now, you should probably have a million of those. You can also use the World Shrinker, Engineering. Those will all work. But the main thing is that you need something that grows your character, and the DC macro, which is commonly, it's nothing exploitive. It just forces your computer to, you unload so much information at it that it logs you out of your game. So those two things, and I'll explain why that's needed. But those two things are needed in order to do this. So I'll go ahead and do it real quick, and then after that's done, people that want to stick around can get into it. It doesn't matter what difficulty you want to actually do this on. It's irrelevant. I don't know if that was 25. Man, I don't care. All you need to do is, as soon as you get in, turn around and go up that little eyeball kiosk thing. Yeah, this deal. Eyeballs, see? Click on your little blue orb and go to Saffron. Also, this boss has one of the coolest entrances I've seen. I mean, Alice Resort was cool, but come on. Alice Resort can't do nothing on Saf. Yeah, look at that. All you need to do is go ahead and snuggle yourself up here on the snow mound here. That would be the room to KT, or the hallway to KT. If you just want to go ahead and snuggle up here to where you can't jump any higher, that's all you're going to need. I'm going to flip my bars here. With the Vrykul Drinking Horn, this was commonly used for mounting back in the day, but if you just hit the DC macro prior to the cast actually finishing, it'll work. So I just, boop, right there. So typically, that means that it worked. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that. Hey, there's my background. Live slow, die whenever. I'm just going to boot back up. Typically, whenever you do that, Blizzard has proxies with their engine that this was added in before Mists of Pandaria. I want to say Cataclysm, when they redid the old world. There were proxies that were added to their engine that if your character tried to grow its box, I'm going to explain later. If it tried to grow its box outside of an actual invisible wall, regardless of how it was shaped, it would just revert. So if you try to mount, you might have noticed this now. Hey, there's Peggle. You might have noticed this now, but if you try to grow, if you try to mount underneath a crevice like that, I'm assuming that we can mount in here, your character would be cut off the mount immediately and you're just returned, because people could exploit that in the very same way. But when you disconnect macro, it stops that proxy from doing its check. So if you do it right at the very end of your cast, it ignores the check. So your character, essentially, when you log back in, is now free to roam. See? So we're going to go ahead and just cancel that. Alright, there's KT's room where you can... Yeah, there it is. So there he is, that beautiful little mummy thing. Lich, that's what they're called. And you can see out to the world. There we go. If you just, I'm not sure what happens if you jump down there in that green, but we're going to play it safe and just jump out in the snow. And that's it. We're done. I'm going to go into some development mentality and also some more analysis, and I'm going to eagle walk around here. So feel free to stick by. But for those who just wanted to see that part, that's it. I'm done. We're out. Go explore for yourself and let me know what you find. And thank you for watching. Go ahead and comment and say, yeah, what's up? Nah, I'm not going to do that time because that messed up my keyboard. Just kidding. Wow, that map, though. Nice. That's a nice green. I could use that for editing. Interesting. Yeah, have fun. Thanks for watching. And for those who want to stick around, come with me. We're going to keep going. Whoa, you can't see my Spectral Tiger and how bright that snow is. Okay. So my first thought about this is that, yes, Naxxramas was an old school raid. I was playing at that time, but I wasn't sentient. So, for example, my hunter was wearing, like, intellect and mana regen gear. You know, there was a certain period where I was playing the game and I was not conscious, I guess. I don't know why. The same thing happened with my rogue. I was wondering why I was having so many issues, like pulling trash, just quest mobs, and I'd have to stop and eat after each mob because I would just die. I went back later and my rogue had all this leather gear. But anyway, I never got to do the old school Naxxramas, so I really can't verify this. If someone has footage, let me know. I'm sure I could find some on YouTube, but I want to see what KT's room looked like in that old version, because I have a theory. I think that it looked like Eastern Plaguelands, so like that weird, mossy, orange, brownish area. In fact, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because you're going to see it here in a second. They have a chunk of right where it used to exist, because, for those who don't know, again, when it was in vanilla BC, it was sitting outside Stratholme, which you'll see right there. It was sitting in the Eastern Plaguelands. Let me see if I can jump out here without... Hey, my cat. Hello. Thank you. So essentially what they did was, there's Stratholme's entrance. They had it floating above. You could teleport into it with 40 people and just go to town on it. But it seemed like... this is why I want to verify, because outside of KT's room, you see this snow. And during the Wrath encounter, he's talking about summoning ghouls and undead from the powers of Northrend via the Lich King. It's great. Awesome. But when I got out of it, it just looked like they remodeled this huge snow area. It looks like Winter Spring, loosely enough. I guess really that's the only solid snow place that we have in Azeroth, but I couldn't really pick out certain bits. I mean, some of this reminds me of the Winter Spring Cub daily area, but it seems loosely enough. They just did that, it seems, to make the effect that he was summoning ghouls and you were still in Naxxramas, because if they still had the Eastern Plaguelands in those portals that the players could see, it would kind of drop the illusion that you've actually moved. So I always thought that was kind of interesting. I wondered, I mean, why do this, though? Why all of this? Why this huge chunk? I mean, I guess if you were standing right there on the portal, because I think there's an invisible wall that stops you from going all the way out there. But, I mean, I guess you could see quite a bit, but it seems like overkill every time they do this. But there's a large chunk, and these, if you haven't seen this before, whenever you get outside of instances, usually you'll see these large missing chunks. Those are usually just, right. If you jump into them, they're just hallways, corridors, rooms. Ulduar is known notoriously for this. In fact, if I jump back over to Stratholme, if my eagle eye will let me, wherever you are, hello. Yeah. You'll see the float, much like Hellfire Citadel, you'll see the floating grates and the little poison effects. That's actually a room. If I jump into it real quick. Yeah, it's one of the quarters. So that's probably the Plague Quarter. It's really interesting how they do that. Again, it's been done in Ulduar. I think it's been done in any multi-tiered raid. If you get outside of it, they just have an invisible floating terrace that the dungeon actually takes place. Except for a few that actually get built in the air. But again, going back to what I was saying about why you can get out of that room. This is used everywhere, and it used to be all over. You could use it to get underneath Stormwind. In fact, even in Mists of Pandaria, I could use it to get underneath the shrines, the capitals for both the Horde and the Alliance, just for fun. There's nothing down there, and if you can mount up and fly too far down, you just DC'd endlessly. So there wasn't really anything to gain from it. It was just kind of cool looking. But Blizzard still fixed a lot of that stuff. I think you could still do it to the Horde shrine. Pardon me. But what I find interesting is that all of this stuff that I end up doing, like how I can get out, where I get out, is more than likely related to solely just their engine, Blizzard's engine, and how old this thing is. If it were more up to date, it would be more difficult. In fact, I probably wouldn't be able to do a lot of this stuff. I guess I should probably go around while I'm talking. I'm trying to focus on one thing at once, but that's okay. Let's take a look at Stratholme real quick. For those who haven't seen the live uninstanced Stratholme, you'll notice that that's a pretty cool texture. You'll notice that there's actually an untextured Naxxramas, or a plague spewer, inside of it. I feel like that was just a model for how they wanted to do it, because it seems like there's one of those plague altars underneath it. And that's how you'd actually teleport to the old school raid Naxxramas when it was in Eastern Plagueland. So sometimes Blizzard does this for, we want to test how this scale looks or how it's going to function, and sometimes they do it because they've removed it or they've just moved it here and forgot to delete it. But it's always funny to see untextured things in this game. In fact, that doesn't even look like Naxxramas. I don't think it's not verbatim anyway. Maybe they updated it when they moved it. Again, I didn't really get to play back then. Not like that. I wasn't looking around. I was just kind of enjoying the game. Weird, right? Let's go ahead and jump around some more. This place isn't as large as it appears, though. You have a really large snow area. Like this area, that hole in KT's room, is just the last two bosses. No other boss encounter actually takes place in the snowy area. Snowy field, whatever you want to call it. Whoop. Every time you walk forward, it always cancels the eagle line, so that gets a little annoying. But you can see where they literally just sliced that to copy it in. So I would really like to see if anybody has footage. Again, let me know. I guess I could always Google it or YouTube it, but you know, this is like just out of Eastern Plaguelands. And then you have, I think this is near Light's Hope Chapel, if I'm not mistaken. I play Paladin pretty heavily. You'd think I'd know this by now. Oh God, look at that fucking tree. I mean, I know those already exist, but just the fact that I happen to snipe right next to one. God, those things are creepy. There's a bridge. There's a mountainside. Hello. There's one of the watchtowers while questing in each. Okay. So trying to get a bear of how everything works here, or trying to get a scope on how large it is. There's another plague camp. Okay. I have to be careful right here because I think if I jump into here, it's just going to jump me inside the raid itself. Yep, there's the main bulk of Eastern Plaguelands. I think I'm already inside something. Yep. Jump down here. There we go. Whoop, 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 whoop. Can I jump over to the entrance of Stratholme? I think I can. Obviously, it's not going to be a portal. Oh, it is. There is a portal. Oh. Well then. Showed me wrong. Wow. Okay. Are these doors clickable? Yeah, the portcullis. Okay. Yeah, I recall this. My character could probably physically go there. I've done this in Stratholme. If you can get outside of Stratholme, you can pretty much see this verbatim. Nope, looks like I am stuck. Oh, that or I am not actually. Yeah, I wasn't actually in there. Okay, cool. Yeah, you can get outside Stratholme actually really easily. I mean, you don't even have to be a high-level character. You can actually do it at current content because the portal, the span of the portal that makes you go through the loading screen is actually smaller than the actual graphic. So you can just hop on the mountain wall and then, or the castle wall, and then just walk alongside the portal, and then you're out. That's it. So that's a little sneak peek. Maybe I'll do a video on that soon. There's the Scarlet Monastery. Okay, or not Scarlet. Excuse me. Wow. Oh, okay. Wow. You can see. I guess they do that too. You can just see that giant chunk right there. I think beyond here, though, there's really not much. This is just untextured land. Yeah, unmodeled land, rather. It's got a texture to it. It's just not very good. Kind of get a sneak peek underneath there. There's a giant basin. Portcullis, yeah. Interesting. Huh. I like stuff like this. And it's not very often now. It seems like Blizzard seems to be going for we carved it in the air sort of thing. So like if you ever gotten out of Black Rock Foundry, which I'll do a video on for eventually, it was just kind of sculpted. The raid was sculpted in midair. So if you get out, you actually end up just falling straight through to this giant sandbox. I mean, it's just a flat square. That's all it is. But it was built in the air. Bastion of Twilight was the same way back in Cataclysm. And a few raids I can't think of right off the top of my head, but they're very reminiscent of that. I think that is whatever her name is. Yes. Oh, no? Okay. Well, I'm inside now. Interesting. I like thinking about, however, just wrap this up. I apologize if I rambled. I'm sure I did, but this sort of I'm trying to cover as much because I got a little bit of feedback saying that there were certain things that I wasn't investigating, or, you know, I want to kind of cover that stuff. And I also encourage people to try this for yourself, as long as there's no repercussions for this. I don't want you to use outsourced means or hacking, you know, program. I don't want any of that, because that can get you in trouble. I'm doing this for knowledge, for the pursuit of knowledge. I like, well, one, I like seeing how my favorite game was made, and two, I wouldn't mind bringing these to Blizzard's attention. I know this is not new. Again, this isn't new, so I'm pretty sure they just don't intend on fixing it, because you have to pick and choose your battles as a developer. I know, I get it. That's fine. But I do like to show that I uniquely go after these things, and I wasn't told how to do this. I don't have any help. I mean, I go out exploring with friends all the time, but I'm not just piggybacking off of someone else learning how to do it. That's my innate thing. As soon as I get in that Legion beta alpha, or if sadly enough when it goes live, the first thing I'll do is jump on everything. It's what I do. But I wanted to try and cover a little bit more, so I'm going to keep going. But, whoa. Okay. Wow. Wow, that's a drop. I have to always appreciate those drops, because it seems so like, one, I love the Jaggy Mountains, but that's just, wow. That's cool. Oh, that's right. Can't go with your back facing there. That's pretty much it. Please, if anybody feels like putting in their own 2 cents, I read comments. I do. Just throw them in there. I'm also on the Facebook and the Twitter, the social media. I'll be streaming more on Twitch, I hope. My internet does allow it. My computer does allow it. I'm just not Twitch savvy. And I'm also not Twitch partner yet, so I can only do 720p, and that kind of bugs me, but it is what it is. Yeah, that reminds me of the old school Under Stormwind, because it was like a bowl. It was the city sitting on top of an empty bowl, pretty much, and you can get underneath the city, and then you could climb out to the mountains and into the ocean. I kind of always like that. And then in Cataclysm, you can actually still get underneath Stormwind. They removed all of that, so that's probably why. Another reason why Cataclysm suffered in many degrees, because so much effort was used into fixing the mountains on top, where we'll see it, and they also got rid of all the unnecessary underground to, I guess, save processing? I'm not sure. But if you could get under, and I guess it's still that way now, I haven't really been under there recently. I think there's still ways to do it, though. You can actually just fly underneath the continent, because this isn't it. As soon as you were to get out of that castle wall, it would just be a straight drop to death. So if you could mount on a flying mount somehow and then go underneath, you're good to go. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think. If you want to see another exploration video that I did, I explored Siege of Rogomar, so check that out. Boop. I guess that's what I'll do it. It's weird doing the boops with my face cam. Hello. Like, hello, I make this noise. Oh, hey, this is that one, that village. God, it's escaping me. I'm just the worst, because I'm not bad with like information and being well read about the game and knowledgeable, but I'm like, with certain topics in certain places like Eastern Plaguelands, I quested there back in the day, back in BC, but I never really cared about it. It wasn't one of my favorite zones, so I don't have a lot of memories there. I have enough, but it's not amazing to me. I don't know. That sounds offensive, but that's not how I mean it. That's not my intention. I'm still not sure what the hell they're doing here. I mean, I guess they had to flatten it and then carve a zone out, because whenever you see this, that means that I'm about to jump into back into the raid, so that's probably a boss's room right there. But yeah, this is nowhere near as high as Hellfire Citadel. Or large, rather. Nowhere near as large. It's smaller than Siege of Orgrimmar, I would say. Okay, well. I feel like I also want to make another video at some point. Again, I kind of threw a little bit of tech stuff into here, but I want to go about my thought process when it comes to discovering new places, like how I discovered Hellfire Citadel. It's just one of those things where I get a thought in my head and I just do it, and it tends to work out with really good results. In my favor, or in my case, it led me to get outside the instance in a rather quick way that is accessible for many people. And that's another thing that I want to look at when it comes to the storage stuff. Is it accessible by most? And for this case, relating back to this, it is. As long as you have something that grows your character, that's in a DC macro, which you can just copy paste. I'll have that in the description again. Yeah, let me know what you think. This kind of sucks because it's not like new content, but I'm cataloging this on purpose. I'm sticking with this for realsies on purpose because I want to get this done out of the way. That way I can actually, when Legion comes out, I can get into new stuff and show you how I do it and show you it as it goes. So it's not like you just looked up on YouTube you just image searched or whatever. You just looked up on YouTube how to do this, and then now you're reporting it in a video. This is stuff that I actually do. So I'll just leave it at that, and you'll hear more from me a lot more soon. I want to make more WoW stuff. I'm working on new WoW series ideas. I'm thinking in the old noggin. So again, leave me ideas. I love feedback. I love it. And hey, heart's on. Oh, heart's off. Okay, well, that was fun. He's probably doing that while I was jumping around. Oh, you can't see it. Because my face is in the way. Heart was on, and then he got off. I'll catch him later. That's pretty much it. I've said that like 4 times now, I'm sure. I'll keep a counter. But have a good day. That's all I can really wish. Thanks for taking the time to watch this, and I hope that I'll have something gold, liquid gold, video gold soon enough. I want Legion, but you know, whatever. Everybody wants Legion. Everybody wants new content because they're tired of current content. This happens every expansion. It's fine. Look, it's fine. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.